People often talk about how Sonic had a very messy transition to 3D, and while I don't think it's completely wrong, a lot of people who say that experienced 3D Sonic through games like Sonic Adventure DX, which was a pretty subpar version of his first mainline 3D game, or maybe like Sonic Heroes, which was the first multi-platform entry in the series, and that game was really buggy, with slippery controls, weird emphasis on combat. But I think my biggest issue with the transition to 3D argument is that it's completely ignoring the majority of 3D platformer from that era that aren't just Mario or Crash or Banjo. Which I can't give you any examples of bad ones, because you know some kid out there grew up with Glover Gex and thinks to himself, holy shit, this guy fucks! I want to talk about the series that actually had a rough transition to 3D. That series is Megaman. Now, there's been quite a few attempts at a 3D Megaman, and by a few I mean like 2.5-ish. Now, Megaman's a really strange series, because it's perceived as being extremely popular, but outside of a few games, they have what I describe as fairly average sales. The original X and Battle Network series sold way more through their legacy collections and re-releases than on their original hardware, with Mega Man 11 being the best-selling entry that wasn't a re-release. I could speculate all day about why or how Mega Man is or isn't really popular, but rather I'm here to talk about what is not only the worst selling sub-series, but the worst selling console game pretty much the entire franchise, excluding like handheld games and Japan exclusives. Now, my knowledge of Mega Man as a whole is quite limited. I mostly just played the original series through Anniversary Collection, and a few titles here and there on my laptop when I was a teenager. But from what I understand, the Legend series is kind of like the Wind Waker of the franchise, where some kind of flood happened and led to the Legend series. Playing it kind of just sit there, isolated from the rest. What's weird about the Legends game is that despite having its fans, none of the game are particularly good. The first game is extremely stiff and really hard to get into. Not mentioning the fact that the game is very short. The stylized character models and music are the main things keeping this game from falling to obscurity. The second main entry was released in 2 parts, weirdly enough, with part 1 being a Japan exclusive demo. I played an English patch of it last year, and outside of some weird shit... Pig, turn around. Turn the fuck around. Turn... Why are you looking at me? Mega Man, thank you so much. How can I ever repay you? I want a kiss? Yo... do you guys want me to get a kiss, or do I want nothing? I want you to crank my hog.
I want a kiss. Kiss me.
Damn. Awfully mature for a boy. Well, close your eyes. Wow, they're actually going for it? Ayo. Fade to black. Yo.
I have never felt the lips of another woman.
Yo. This is fetish content. Don't worry. Just say you'll join my crew. I'll join your crew. Hell yeah. 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 We did it. We did it, chat. We got a good ending. I kissed the hog and I liked it. Oh my god. There she is. Why is she so big? Holy shit. This is what the under the Xbox avatar shoe looks like.
You ever wonder what the bottom of an avatar shoe looks like? Well, bam! There it is.
This game is mostly just a showcase of a few mechanics and like 2 normal missions. The actual second game, which is titled as Part 2 in Japan, is much more ambitious with a much more cinematic presentation and very long and boring dungeons padding the runtime of the game. They did improve the movement a bit, and the atmosphere in some of the game's area is honestly top tier. I kinda just want to explore right now. This place looks awesome. Hello, snowman. Bye-bye, snowman. Yeah. The evil meter just went up. Who the fuck is
Looks
this?
like they're intent on ignoring my warning.
Weapons activated.
Remember, I don't want them hurt.
Understood.
Holy shit, Hatsune Miku?
Oh wait, this is 1080p, never mind.
Brazilian Miku is in here? Yo, what the fuck? It's a dropship and there's a woman inside, no shit. It's fucking Miku. She's in the game.
But once again, the Legends game always seemed like they were building up for a much better sequel that would finally find its footing. And for a lot of people, Legends 3 was gonna be that game, but it was cancelled. By the way, did you know that I'm really close to 900 subscribers, and it would be really epic if you unsubscribe to this channel, because if I reach 900 subscribers, the flood will happen and everyone will die. Look at how small and insignificant you are. Idiot. Give me your lunch money. Right now. I'll squish you. I'll squish you, idiot. Now, some of you might have noticed I skipped the game. And not only is it the worst selling one, but it's also my favorite one. The Misadventures of Tron Bonne is a weird entry between Legends 1 and 2, where the devs were clearly just throwing shit at the wall and experimenting. And weirdly enough, this is my favorite of those games. Now, I won't get too deep into who the Bonds are and how they relate to Megaman in the story, so I'll just say this: they're kinda like the Team Dark of the series. They do morally questionable shit, they have a weird fucking robot thing, and the main character is romantically invested in the blue guy. The general plot of the game is that you owe money to the IRS, and there's nothing more scary than the IRS, alright? Trust me. So you have to go around shooting down people, robbing their houses, killing cops, trafficking farm animals, and hustling Shenmue style to make some big money and save your brother. Alright, now I can talk about the actual topic of the video, the surf bots, also known as Kobo in Japan. And no, they're not fucking Legos. Every time I see people playing fucking Dead Rising, people call them Legos.
Lego head.
It's not a Lego, it's a surf bot from...
I hope he does. But anyway, I just want you to say that as a Lego head myself, I hope our other
It's a surf bot.
steps on a Lego.
I need to play Tron Bonne.
Shut up back there.
Spite.
Yeah, come play trombone. I'm sure he would love it.
You're my Liz, buddy.
Like you do on
I'll have you know. I graduated top of my
I'm the
class
one
in Navy
who
SEALs.
brought the fucking
I've been involved in
Zomrex.
numerous secret raids on Al Qaeda.
Guy,
I have over 300 confirmed kills.
Yeah, I did.
300.
You did.
I'm trained guerrilla warfare, and I'm the top sniper in
see
the
where it
the
is.
entire
It's in
U.S.
Megaman
Armed
stuff.
Force. Alright, you're nothing to me but another target.
Legos?
I'll wipe you the fuck out with precision, the likes of which has never been seen before on this earth. Mark my fucking words. Anyway, these little guys are awesome. There's 40 of them, and they all have different personalities and skills. Now, you don't actually get to interact with them in the Chao Garden, but you can interact with them on your ship and do minigames, training, or even bring them in missions. Some of them will also unlock entirely new features in the game if you give them certain items, such as giving the painting tools to Surfbot that likes painting, or unlock the ability to change the paint job on your mech. Oh yeah, you have a mech! Now, I know I'm basically targeting this video to Sonic fans, and mech levels are really bad in SA2, but you gotta trust me, The mech feels pretty good in this game, once you get used to controls. And best of all, it doesn't destroy your eardrums. So I know someone out there is gonna be like, no, actually the controls are terrible in this game. And I do think, you know, they do need a lot of getting used to it, but there are a few things I think people should note when playing this game. So first off, there's two modes, right? Right now I'm using the tank control modes, which makes it rotate with the sides. You can also have it strafe with the sides. Otherwise, it's gonna be the shoulder buttons for either of those. It's basically just inverting both of them. I like both. Sometimes I use these tank control, sometimes I use the strafing instead. But yeah, you're gonna use both the shoulders and the D-pad, which you don't want to use the analog stick. If you're in analog mode, turn that off, because what's gonna happen is, you know, you're gonna like turn or whatever, and like the moment you like you know, you accidentally hits like diagonally in some kind of way, your character is just gonna like stop and not like move smoothly. So you don't want to do that ever, especially if you use the strafing with the D-pad. It's like really bad. And one of the reasons why is because if you're going backwards at all, you stop shooting and your character will like lock in place. So you want to like you don't want to use analog controls at all. It's really not something you want to do. Another thing to note is there is an auto like an aim assist mode. It's called like auto aim or something. You have manual or auto. Well, essentially, look, you see that my character just turned automatically towards the enemy. So if you suck at the aiming, you know, you can do that. No shame in that. Yeah, just wanted to clear that up because I know someone out there is gonna be like, oh, the controls are terrible and they're using like the fucking analog controls, and like, of course it's terrible you're using the analog controls. I just want to mention that, okay, because this game does not support analog control. It does not. Like, if you try to force it to, it's just gonna feel horrible. And yeah, I know some people really hate tank controls, but like, the camera never gets stuck on anything or anything. Like, it's responsive. It doesn't get stuck on anything. Like, it's always clipping through the wall, so there's not really any problem with the movement or the camera ever. Like, it's very responsive and it's always doing what you want it to do. Unless you're using the analog stick, then yeah, you're gonna struggle. Oh, also, I don't recommend assigning the shoulder buttons, like the right analog stick for the camera or anything, if you're like strafing or whatever, because you need to be pressing the fire button while strafing, and if you assign it to the analog stick, you won't be able to turn or strafe while shooting. So that's gonna like make combat a fucking awful experience, so don't do that. Now you can also send your surfbot scouting between each mission to get item, but because of how non-existent the documentation of this game tends to be, I don't actually know if there's any real strategies to this mechanic or if it's mostly just RNG. Now, the way the surfbots interact with the main game is quite the opposite of how it works in a Sonic game, where in those you get items by playing the levels so you can compete in minigames. In this game, you compete in minigames to upgrade their skills so they can help you in the actual levels themselves. That's right, you can choose which surfbots to bring with you as a team through levels. They can fight, they can loot treasure, and they can put their lives at risk to serve you.
It's a trap. If you can't get past this, then you're not worthy of being called the digger. Oh, that hurt. This is a nasty trap.
I'll shoot a beacon bomb over there. You go push the switch, all right? Miss Tron, what happens if we get hit by the big ball? Don't worry, I'll time it just right so that you won't. But if I don't, well, if you don't? Well, we'll see what happens. Don't worry, it won't hurt that much. But Miss Tron! Quiet! Stop your whining! Do you understand what you have to do? Yes, Miss Tron.
Sometimes they may even go out of their way to ask you to bring them in missions to learn new skills that can benefit you. In Sonic, the Chao Garden is fully optional and more of an incentive to replay levels. While in this game you could ignore it and just play the game, but the game constantly rewards you for interacting with its surfbots, resulting in a much more cohesive game structure. Also, if any of you out there are into child torture, I have amazing news. In this game, torture is an actual gameplay feature. That's right, sometimes your surfbots stop giving a shit and just become lazy bums who refuse to work. And what's a better way to make them obey you than sending them to the torture room, where you can crush their balls repeatedly until they obey you again. Alright, it's torture time, baby. One explanation of the torture room rules. Sure, let's go. Got him. Got your ass. Yeah. Yeah. Well, have you learned your lesson? What do you think you're doing? I could have been killed. Number 10 wasn't cured of his laziness. Want to punish another surfer? Hell yeah, dude. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. 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 Well, have you learned your lesson? I won't goof off again, I promise. Yeah, laziness has been cured. Chat, we did it. We did it. So, surfbots have 4 main stats you have to worry about. The first one being attack, which is very self-explanatory. Surfbots with high attack will do more damage when you send them at enemies. You raise this stat by doing the bomb minigame. Speed is how fast they run around. You level up this one by doing the cooking minigame. But brain is the most tricky one here. In combat missions, they'll collect money for you without being asked, and they can even help you a bit with puzzle levels. This one is raised by bringing the surfbots during missions. And the last stat is sloth, which increases by not making them do anything for too long until you bring them to the torture room for some CBT. All these stats can also be increased by using cube items, which you can get from scouting. Now there are also 18 different skills. Most of these are unique to a single surfbot, with the exception of combat specific skills. Most surfbots don't start with their skills and need to learn it from either raising their stats or from receiving a unique item. Combat skills mostly involves the surfbot being able to use weapons in combat like a slingshot or grenades. Then you have development skill, which allow you to build upgrades and items to use in missions. And finally you have a bunch of weird ones like the music one, who can change the music in the menu depending on which item you give him. But none of them compare to the dreaded number 40. He's a designer. Or is he? Yeah, that's right, this little guy, it was censored in localization. He's actually a pervert. He unlocks the pervert skill by being given what I assume is some kind of porn magazine, and then he just spends all his time in Tron's bedroom smelling her bed sheets. There's also a few cut skills that never made it into the game, which are assumed to be for all the surfbots that don't have any skills. I don't actually have access to all 40 surfbots from the beginning of the game. You see, you start the game with only having access to a few rooms of the ship, so you can only use the ones in those early rooms. But as you progress through the game, you start opening up more of the ship and gain access to a full roster of surfbots. There's also a weird Japan exclusive surfbot you can only unlock by having a save file from a weird demo disc. Alright, I think I've talked about pretty much everything I wanted, so... You might be wondering, how can I play this game? This game looks cool. Well, you see, here's how you can play this game.
Check it out, I'm in the house like carpet. And if there's too many heads in my blunt, I won't spark it, I'll put it in my pocket and save it like rocket fuel. Till everybody's gone and it's cool, then I spark it up with my brother. His mama named him Moan, but I call him Moan Lover. And he's more than a cover, he's a quilt. We're putting shit together like the house that John built on a hill. Cause this shit gonna feel like velvet, turtle. My style fits tighter than a girdle. If you hate it, then you can just leave it like Beaver.
Do they have a free will?
Yeah, I think. I mean, I have the will to get Tron Bonne.
Presents.
What? There, she's finally fixed. That's not 100% fixed.